Hi everyone, welcome back to Metanoia. My name is Carrie Jane. I have taken you outside today to talk to you about September 2022. And lately I haven't been starting with the keywords for the month, so I'm gonna go back to that in this video. I'm gonna start off with some keywords, and right now we're in a 6 month. This is an important month, and September is always a now or never month. And if you're confused by what I just said, please watch my video on the numerology of September. It's in my calendar year playlist, and that explains everything about that. But the keywords that I have for right now are kindness, compassion, altruism, grace, unconditional love, self-care, and healing. And so in September, we should start to feel like things are calming down a little bit, even if we still have plenty to do, which we always do. There's always a lot to do. There's always a lot of responsibilities to take care of. That never goes away, but we should start to feel like we can take a deep breath and, despite the fact, kind of just bravely move forward gracefully, hence the keyword grace, move forward after everything that we've been through this past year and what we now face as a result of this past year and before that. I think it was around this time last year that I filmed from this exact spot. I can't remember if it was a monthly forecast video or if it was a yearly, but it was around this time that I brought you here, and it feels right. It feels right to right now come full circle right before this year begins to come to an end, when everything is kind of at its height and it's so utterly peaceful, and it is extremely appropriate for the theme of this month and the theme of this past year. And I want to read to you what I wrote regarding this, because this is where I am at mentally, thinking about how much has just changed in 1 year alone, and things that I've become aware of as a result that was completely not on my radar, and I think that a lot of you might relate to it, so I want to share that with you. So I wrote here that in the beginning of the year, in 2022, I prepared you by saying that healing is messy. That is, I've come to find out because it asks us to use a different part of ourselves, a part that is typically underutilized or even completely absent, which is often what led to the extent of our hurt, our pain, whatever it is, in the first place. I've been talking about my writing lately in these videos, and what I catch myself saying a lot is that writing is hard and that's why we should do it. Well, what if healing is hard and that's why we should do it? When you're in pain, it's hard to continue avoiding something or simply carrying on as usual. And yet it doesn't have to be as hard as we've made it out to be, not when we allow for ourselves to be imperfect or to be broken or unsure of the future or unsure of what's around the corner or even what to do next. So healing is messy. Healing is messy because there's usually something that has to be developed, like some sort of character trait within us that we've never, had to either bring into the light of day or utilize or even pull apart from nothing. It's hard because we are left for the most part, to our own devices in this life. And I think that you should be proud of wherever you are right now, because a lot of us had to do much of life alone to some extent. Everyone gets a certain level of support more than others, and then different kinds of support too. Not all of us get the same kind of support, but for healing is really completely up to us. So even if you healed a little bit this past year, or at some chapter in your life when that was what was going on, you should feel really good about that. And that brings me to the next thing that I want to say, is that your best will not look like everyone else's, and your best is not going to even necessarily look like the potentially unrealistic goal that you set for yourself. So comparing ourselves to others, or constantly measuring ourselves to some mental goal or place or standard that we want to be at or achieve, is something we all do. I'm guilty of that as well. We all do not want to be where we are to some extent, typically. But I say that this month, just let yourself be where you are. I've said that many times before to a lot of you, and this is one of those times. And if you're not okay, that's okay. If you're further along than you thought you'd be this year, then accept that. And that might sound weird, but yes, even success is hard to accept sometimes fully. Like when you're not used to things working out, and you might get skeptical about what the next part of something is because of it. Or it might just let yourself be whatever state that you're in. And your best will not necessarily look like what you expected it to be. And that is okay. This month you should not be trying to constantly strive to the next impossible tier on that ladder. Just maybe hang out where you are for a while and be happy with that. Be at peace with that. Feel some level of contentment. That is what is accessible right now. That is the gift of this double 6 that we have right now. The number 6 is often very much involved with the way home feels. And we're in Virgo season right now, and I do this unconsciously. I'm not even aware of it, but every time Virgo season pops up, I just aggressively clean my place. I don't even do spring cleaning. I do late summer, early fall cleaning, and it just happens to be around Virgo season where this stuff is coming up. And yeah, an emphasis on home there. That definitely can make it feel like a more inviting space, especially when life gets very choppy and when we're trying to work on ourselves, and we've experienced a lot of turmoil as a result of it. That's just a part of the process. It feels good. It feels good to remember that home is a safe place. Home is this clean place. Home is this functional space, So that's where the home comes into focus this month. That's how it comes into focus this month. And I recommended this song before for a forecast video. And the song is Peace of Mind by The Killers. Listen to that song, you'll feel better. You'll feel better this month. I also wrote here that it doesn't matter what the situation is, eventually you have to look at it with your heart. Eventually, you have to look at it with your heart. What situation am I talking about? Are you asking? Literally any situation at all. When you're upset because you live in a world that's divided, when you don't agree politically with your family members or your neighbors, when you're at work and, I don't know, you're just frustrated because you're never able to make ends meet, and you're never able to get ahead in the promotion that you need, and it seems to be like one step forward, two steps back. You don't understand why this person did this thing to you, or why life did this thing to you, or whatever. Eventually, you have to stop and look at people with your heart, look at life with your heart. Yeah, that's this month. I wrote here that there is a lot of mental analysis on the horizon because the 7 years coming. That's what that entails. Wouldn't it be great to let your heart decide one last time before we get into that weird mental space? It doesn't actually have to be weird. Sometimes it's pretty great. I love the 7. But just, what if you just let your heart decide for a hot second one last time before we have to move into that space? I bet it would benefit the mind's journey, the spiritual journey, I wrote here. And the non-material world will ask us to explore new things and perhaps consider something different. And without this awareness of our needs, of our heart space, and the emotional condition, the emotional human condition, we probably won't make it as far. So that is why we also must do this work at this time. Some advice for this month, other than what I've already said, is cry it out. Sit in joy. Can go either way. Be in the moment. Reflect on January up until now. What is there left to do? Focus on your heart. We've already talked about that. There is a consciousness there that really needs to be acknowledged. It's like a now or never situation. Communicate your needs. This could be the month where finally a window of opportunity opens where you're able to have kind of a difficult conversation. It might be acknowledging something with someone that you maybe are both a little bit aware of but haven't been able to talk about yet. Or it could simply be that, you've just been too busy to have important communication with anyone, whether it's your friends, your family, your boss, etc. And then now the time comes where this is a good opportunity to communicate your needs, and it should not be something where it comes with a consequence. It should be like good for both parties, if that makes any sense. There should be a good outcome to this conversation, as difficult as it might be to initiate. I wrote here, tell someone what they mean to you. This is a very loving energy. Do what makes you feel at home. Foster your creativity this month, your voice. Consider what gives you your life meaning. This is big stuff here. Hold someone's hand. Pick up your favorite book and just welcome the morning sun, like in this video. I hope you can hear the birds and feel the peace that I can feel right now. I can talk at you for as long as I want, but there's definitely things in nature that makes us aware of things that we can't just by verbal communication or written communication. And next year, the world is going to go through a little spiritual quest, a little non-material journey, a little introspective period. When it comes to the collective, I'm very curious to see what that looks like. I don't really know what that translates to as a population at large. Like the number 6 made a lot of sense because it's about people, it's about community. And so, of course, I think there's going to be a lot of parallels when it comes to all of us, regardless of whatever personal year you're going through, which if you want to know, and you would like your own numerologist, and you want someone to walk you through your own cycles throughout the months, please sign up for my Patreon service. The link is in the description. But basically, the 6 at large, when you look at it through the context of the human race, it makes sense that we will all be experiencing a lot of similar things. But the 7, being such an introspective number, I think places a lot more focus on the individual, less on the community at large. And when that happens, I think that it becomes such a unique experience for every person that it's hard for me to say anything that is deeply personal to any of you here. Does that make any sense? You know, like I don't know what introspection, the results rather of introspection and analysis and deep reflection looks like for all of you. I think that we all kind of go to a slightly different place when this kind of energy happens. So if anything that we can expect on the horizon is that we're all gonna go perhaps on a unique path. We might even diverge a little bit, which is a little scary, you know, especially for those of us who did develop some kind of community over the past year, even if it was just like a couple of new friends, or perhaps some of you were even able to develop a relationship, something, you know, meaningful like that. You know, it's always a little bit scary when change happens and we don't really know what to expect out of our relationships as a result. But it's ultimately a good thing. It's ultimately going to get us to places that we want to be in terms of, like I said in this video, what gives our life meaning. And perhaps we will be able to, on the other side of this upcoming year, be able to take everything that we've, I don't know, you could say manifested, or for some of us it was more like a crash collision of events or people or situations. You know, we could kind of just like assess where we've been, where we are now, and be able to go somewhere else with confidence. But I'm kind of waffling now because this is really a video for another time. This is going to be like the forecast video for 2023, and I don't want to spoil I don't want to spoil the 7-year too much, but at the same time I don't think that it's very possible to articulate the level of healing that is possible right now based on where we've been and what's around the corner. It's good to remember that if you really want it, peace is accessible. It's good to remember that if you either really want it or really need it, peace and harmony is accessible to you at any given time. And I know a lot of people are not going to believe me here with that. And yeah, it's rough. I get it. It's really hard. But if you don't at least open up your heart a little bit to it and try, it won't come to you. It won't be at your front door, and you'll miss the bus a little bit. You need to open your heart to that possibility, or whatever possibility that lies in front of you right now that you might be second guessing. And that's very vague. Like I'm always very vague in these videos. I have to be. I'm not talking about a specific person and where they are in their cycle. I'm talking about, like, 7 billion people, and hoping that some of you guys relate to what I'm saying. But I just want to say thank you to all those who always watch my videos and like and subscribe to my channel. And I want to thank those of you who have signed up to my Substack. Metanoia will be published over the next, God, I don't know, however many months it's gonna take for me to publish it. And the sun is very bright and it's hard for me to look at the camera directly, so I'm also also sorry about that. But yeah, September will be the month where I publish the Communicator, the Life Path 3 that I wrote about. And that will kind of dip into October because it's a very long chapter. And then we'll go from there. I'll let you know what October's posts will be when we cross that bridge. So I am at a point where I cannot feel my legs at all. I sit, you know, with my legs crossed on the ground, and by the time that these videos end, like, I've just lost all feeling, and it takes me like a solid 5 minutes for me to be able to like walk normally again, the things I do for this channel. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know how your year has been in the comments, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care.